जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी 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 जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशो ब्रजजन रंजन यमुनातीरावनचारी तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी 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 जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सतस डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सतस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री रामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा द्वारका धाम की जय। मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। गंगे माय जमने माय की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। ISKCON फाउंडर आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, entitled Vidura's Talk with Maitreya, text number 49. You can repeat after me. Yavad balim tejaharam kale yatha vayam channa adam yatra यतो भयेषां त इमे हि लोका बलिं हरन्तो नम अदन्त्यनुहा। यावत् बलिं तेजहराम काले यथा वयं चन्न अदं यत्र यथो भयेषां त इमे हि लोका बलिं हरन्तो ननदन्तनुहा। यावत् बलिं तेजहराम काले यथा वयं छन्न अदं यत्र यथा भयेषां त इमे हि लोका बलिं हरन्तो नम अदन्तनुहा। राम काले यदा वयं छन्नदं यत्र तो भयेषां तमे हि लोका बलिं हरन्तम् अनन्तनुहा। यावत् बलिं तेजहराम काले यथा वयं छन्नदं यत्र यतो भयेषां तैमे हि लोका बलिं हरन्तो चन्तनुहा। माताजी, यावत् बलिं तेजहराम काले यथा वयं छन्न अदमा यत्र यतो भयेषां तैमे हि लोका बलिं हरन्तो न मदन्तनुहा। यावत् बलिं तेजहराम काले यथा वयं अदं यत्र यतो भयेषां तैमे हि लोका बलिं हरन्तो न मदन्तनुहा। Word to word translation. Yavat, as it may be, balim, offerings, te, your, aja, O unborn one, harama, shall offer, kale, at the right time, yatha, as much as, vayam, we, cha, also, annam, food grains, Adam shall partake, Yatra, whereupon, Yatha, as much as, Ubhayesham, both, both for you and for us. They, all, ime, this, he, certainly, loka, living entities, balim, offerings, haranta, while offering, annam, grains, adanti, eat, anuha, without disturbance. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O unborn one, please enlighten us regarding the ways and means by which we can offer you all enjoyable grains and commodities so that both we and all other living entities in this world can maintain ourselves without disturbance, can easily accumulate the necessities of life both for you and for ourselves. So yesterday, Rasikacharya Prabhu very beautifully covered the first two paragraphs. We'll be covering today the last paragraph of this verse. So it goes like this. In Bhagavad Gita 3.13, it is confirmed that one who takes foodstuff after a performance of sacrifice, it's real food for proper maintenance of the body and soul. But one who cooks for himself and does not perform any sacrifice, eats only lumps of sin in the shape of foodstuffs. Such sinful eating can never make one happy or free from scarcity. Famine is not due to an increase in population, as less intelligent economists think. When human society is grateful to the Lord for all His gifts for the maintenance of the living entities, then there is certainly no scarcity or want in society. But when men are unaware of the intrinsic value of such gifts from the Lord, surely they are in want. A person who has no God consciousness may live in opulence for the time being due to his past virtuous acts. But if one forgets his relationship with the Lord, certainly he must await the stage of starvation by the law of the powerful material nature. One cannot escape the vigilance of the powerful material nature unless he leads a God-conscious or devotional life. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Pashyatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We'll read the translation one more time. O unborn one, please enlighten us regarding the ways and means by which we can offer you all enjoyable grains and commodities so that both we and all other living entities in this world can maintain ourselves without disturbance and can easily accumulate the necessities of life both for you and for ourselves. So just to give you the context that where we are, of course, yesterday, Rashikacharya Prabhu very beautifully gave the context also. And before we embark into today's discussion, I sincerely want to seek blessings from all my senior God brothers and God sisters who are present here, as well as whoever is watching online. My sincere request that please bless me so that whatever I can speak can benefit me, and it may benefit all of you as well. So, the context is, as chapter entitled, Vidura's talk with Maitreya. So, Vidurji asked quite a number of questions to Maitreya Muni, right? And Maitreya Muni is answering now all the questions that Vidurji has asked. And I was like, just read, okay, what is that verse number 49 when it came to me. So I, as I read, O unborn one, please enlighten us. So sometimes when you read Bhagavatam in between, you wonder where this is going. So what exactly is happening here is when Maitreya Muni is answering the question of Vidurji, he is describing that how demigods were perplexed about carrying out their own duties. And now actually Maitreya Muni is quoting the prayers of demigods. So demigods are now praying to Lord to enlighten them about their responsibilities and duties. So that is where this is, Maitreya Muni is not praying to the Lord. The demigods are praying to the Lord about this particular verse that we are seeing here. And I was going through the verse and I was just wondering, what should we pick the theme, as Prabhupada is very beautifully explaining that. I may read that line again because sometimes, not sometimes, all the time Prabhupada writes of wonderful things. Prabhupada writes that such sinful eating can never make one happy or free from scarcity. So what is this sinful eating that Prabhupada is talking about? Is the bhoga which is not offered to the Lord and consumed by that human being. And Srila Prabhupada very emphatically is saying that such people who do not offer bhoga to the Lord and honor or take that foodstuff will never make them happy. And they will always live in scarcity. Why is that? What is scarcity? Scarcity is that you are scared that there won't be enough for me and my family. That is scarcity. Because you are not offering it to the Lord. So basically what it means is that you have no concept of God in your life. If you have a concept of God in your life, then you will definitely offer that foodstuff to the God before you honor it. That's why such people can never be happy. And they will always live in scarcity. And that is where they create the propaganda, as Srila Prabhupada is very beautifully writing, of famine. Right? And he says, the poor economist, they just make up this whole philosophy of famine. But there is no such thing. If you are a God-conscious population, there is no such thing called famine. Right? And we We hear in the previous days of Dashrath Maharaj and others where there were 12 years of continuous famine, but still none of the citizens felt there were famine for last 12 years. Because everyone was God conscious, so as the ruler was also God conscious. So if you see in this purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that if you do not acknowledge or if you're not grateful for the gifts that you receive from the Lord, then what is the use of your living? So I was just trying to understand what theme we can speak on this small paragraph that we have today. So the one thing that I was going through this came to my mind is about gratitude. That we should be grateful. Right? And I'm very, very grateful to the temple authorities for giving me this opportunity because it helps me to go deeper in my own spiritual life. And it also helps me to hear the lectures or to prepare the lectures for which I have to hear so many other lectures. And helps me to go deeper and deeper in Krishna consciousness, which is very wonderful for me. So I'm very, very grateful to the temple authorities for time and again, despite my inabilities, despite my disqualification, they continue to give me an opportunity to speak on this esteemed seat of Vyasasan and say something about Srimad Bhagavatam. And before I delve into today's topic of being grateful, I would like to express my gratitude to His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj. I heard his class called Magnitude of Gratitude, and I'm just going to talk about that class only. So I'm not going to time and again quote that, this is from S.B. Keshav Maharaj. This entire thing what I'm going to speak is from his lecture only, because his lecture was really amazing. I heard minimum 4 to 5 times in order to prepare my class. And each time I heard it, I felt like I should hear it again and again. It's not because I cannot remember it, but because the concept that he presented of gratitude is so amazing. So there are so many people in this world. They talk about gratitude. They write a book on gratitude. And there are so many strategies and a plan about being grateful. Right? But if you see our Vaishnava culture itself is a culture of gratitude. Unless until we become conscious that I need to explain this topic, you really go deeper into this topic. Otherwise, you don't. And things becomes very superficial. So it's not that what I'm going to say is something that I have perfected. I'm completely lacking it. Today's class is going to be absolutely theoretical. And sometimes we get bored with theory. But believe me, without theory, you cannot perform a practical. I can tell you, one of the students who was asked not to perform the practical because he did not follow the theory of code of the colors in physics. It's an electrical subject, right? And this person did not follow the code of the colors of the wire. And the lab instructor did not allow, even though everything was correct, but the lab instructor did not allow that student to perform the practical. Why? Because that practical was life-threatening. If one single thing that you misplace or joined wrongly, the person can die because it was a high voltage experiment. So theory is very, very important because the practical is going to be based on theory. Many times we say, let's be practical, let's not be theoretical. But if you do not know the theory, how are you going to perform the practical? Your practical will be completely speculation. Your practical has to be based on the theory, right? So today what I'm going to speak is absolutely theory. I haven't performed practical myself, but I'm looking forward for it because it is a very exciting theory. And yesterday, very beautifully, Rasikacharya Prabhu explained about the purpose of the creation of the material world. I was really fascinated by this. The purpose of the creation of the material world is what? so that the living entity can enjoy separately from Krishna. Isn't it? And the same material world has a dual purpose. What is the second purpose? First purpose is you can enjoy separately from Krishna, and the same material world will frustrate you. So you may wonder, what is this? It is exactly like a sugar-coated medicine. You cannot take a bitter medicine just like that. If it is a sugar-coated, you enjoy that. And when you start having the bitter taste, you may wonder what it is. But actually that bitterness is curing you, not the sugar. Sugar was just to get you there. And once that sugar is over, that medicine is actually going to cure you. So similarly, this material world, when the miseries come, is actually there for us to get cured. And that is a wonderful purpose of this material world. Beautifully explained, and a wonderful example that he gave about, he learned the cycle from his uncle. Like, how devotees can help us, and without we see that we are going on our own, but there is somebody who is holding us from behind. So it's such a wonderful thing. Thank you, ISKCON Prabhu. So today's class is about gratitude, right? So we were talking about the culture of gratitude. Which culture? The Vaishnava culture. The Vaishnava culture is a culture of gratitude. How? We wake up with what? We wake up and attend the Mangala Aarti. What is Mangala Aarti? Nothing but being grateful to the spiritual master. Right? Samsara dava nalali the loka. But we become so dumb, at least I become so dumb, that we just sing, but we don't even realize what we are singing. We are just absorbed. It's good to be absorbed, looking at the Lord, but we should be absorbed in the wordings as well, that what we are praying here. Samsara dava nalali the loka. This world is like a forest fire. We have AC, so we don't realize it's a forest fire. But when we go out, probably we feel a heat, right? So we start with the Mangala Aarti. Before starting any of the pravachan, we sing Mangala Charan. What is that? We are being grateful to our previous acharyas and seeking their blessings. Even before eating prasadam, Krishna bado dayamay. What we are saying? Krishna, thank you so much. You are so kind that are giving this prasad to me. Right? So if you see this Vaishnava culture, if you are attentive, if you are conscious, then it is full of gratitude. You don't need to devise different plan to be grateful. If you just follow the daily routine of our Vaishnava culture that is given by Srila Prabhupada, we automatically will become grateful. Isn't it? But what is the human nature? The human nature is what we have, we always undervalue. And what we don't have, we overvalue. And that is the root cause of our dissatisfaction. Just think about it. Whatever we have, we are just undervaluing it. And whatever we don't have, we just overvalue each time. And we wonder, what is the formula of satisfaction? The formula of satisfaction is very simple. Just reverse the formula. What is the formula of dissatisfaction? Whatever you have, you undervalue. And whatever you don't have, you overvalue. Just reverse the formula and you will be completely satisfied. Whatever you have, overvalue it. Wow, this is amazing that I have it. Fantastic. And whatever you don't have, just undervalue it. And believe me, you'll be absolutely satisfied. It's as simple as that. We all have gone through the story of a crow. This actually resonates exactly what the point is being made here. Undervalue and versus overvalue. So crow was singing, how ugly looking am I? Nobody looks at me. Even I go to anybody's, they feel I am an inauspicious, this, that. I wish I would have been like parrot. Parrot is so beautiful. Everyone loves parrot. Everyone admires parrot. So he goes to the parrot. He says, parrot, you are so fortunate. You are so colorful. When I was going through this story, I felt like, I have heard this story somewhere. And then I realized it's a story, similar story of Gop Kumar, Brihad Bhagavatam, right? Going to the next person and saying, you are so fortunate that you have received the mercy of the Lord. But it's a different context here. The crow is saying that, oh parrot, you are so fortunate that you are so colorful and you are so beautiful. So parrot says, I thought so until I saw peacock. You see peacock? Peacock has thousands of colors. I have only one color. Or maybe at the most, some of these fancy parrots or the foreign parrots that we see has maybe 2-3 colors. But peacock, wow, so beautiful. Look at the feather, and when he does this, kala, he looks so beautiful, isn't it? So crow says, yeah. So let's go to the peacock. So they both go to peacock, and where peacock is found? In the zoo. So they go to the peacock, and there is a huge crowd around where peacock was kept, and thousands of people waiting to see this wonderful peacock. So somehow or other, crow and the parrot gets in and talks to peacock, saying that, can we have your few minutes in your busy schedule? You are there to show your different things here in your art. Says, yeah, sure. Says, you are so fortunate. You are so colorful. You are so beautiful. Thousands of people come to see you. Says, I also thought so. And I see there are so many other beautiful birds who are in the zoo. So I was wondering, which is that bird is not in the zoo and who is free to fly anywhere and everywhere? Who is not imprisoned? Then I realized that bird is none other than crow. When crow heard that, it really dawned on him. And he was so grateful, and he said, thank you, my Lord, for making me what I am. So that is what is required, right? Now, the gratitude itself says it's a great attitude. And Radhanath Maharaj many times says, if you're not grateful, you are great fool. Right? So you can imagine how important it is to be grateful. And many a times, we don't even realize that, what we have received. Sanatan Goswami, when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatan Goswami said, I made up of your mercy, my Lord. So isn't it each one of us is made up of the mercy of the Lord. We just have to realize it. So let's say when we get prosperity, do we feel grateful? Yes, right? Let's say you get a lottery of 1 CR, you will feel grateful, yes. You come to Radha Gopinath, at least 1 lakh ka nahi to 1,000 ka to donation आप दोगे ही दोगे, right? You will give 1,000 donation. Thank you, my Lord, for giving me this 1 CR lottery, right? You get a promotion, you come and offer dandavat to the Lord and saying thank you so much, right? So when you get prosperity, you may be grateful. When things happens to ourselves, we are grateful. Or things happens to our family, we become grateful, right? Your sons or daughters gets a admission in a great college, you feel grateful. Daughter gets married to the most suitable husband, father and mother both becomes very happy and grateful, right? When you receive things in your life, you become grateful, right? We all become grateful when we receive things. When we understand Krishna's plan, we become grateful. How many of you have understood Krishna's plan? Not immediately, but later on, right? I understand. I feel like, Krishna sent me to US to become Krishna conscious. If I would have been in India, I would have never become Krishna conscious because of my bad habits. So Krishna arranges something, and when you understand later on, retrospect, and you feel, oh wow, this is how Krishna did in my life. So you become so grateful, isn't it? It's natural that we become grateful. And many times we become very grateful in our mind. Many times we stand in front of Shri Radha Gopinath ji, the tears glide down of gratitude. Thank you, my Lord. So now today, you may wonder that, Prabhuji, what is this? Like, you just talked about, of course, we become grateful when we get prosperity, when something happens to us, nice thing happens to us, when we receive things, when we understand Krishna's plan. We are definitely grateful in the mind. What you're trying to make a point here? So now, we are going to discuss something very interesting and a different perspective of being grateful. And if you can be grateful, if I can be grateful in these situations, which I'm going to describe now, all these 5 situations, if you become grateful, you will see Krishna face to face in this body. I guarantee you. If you not just practice, it becomes a natural for you. These 5 situations in which if you become naturally grateful, not practicing gratitude, if you naturally become grateful, in this very body, you will experience the spiritual world. Will you be interested? I'm sure, at least I am interested, so I'll speak. So, Maharaj explained very beautifully. The first one, it is easy to be grateful in prosperity. But is it easy to remain grateful in adversity? When you become grateful genuinely and naturally, when the adversity hits in your life, how is it possible? Recently we celebrated the wonderful Narsimha Chaturdashi. And we see how Prahlad experienced this. When Narsimhadev appeared from the pillar, it's not Prahlad started dancing. Like, how we see people, when they even win a match, a mere match, football match or a cricket match, they start dancing and some of them remove t-shirt and So did Prahlad Maharaj started dancing when Narsimhadev appeared? He was so sober and so grateful when Narsimhadev appeared. And he was equally grateful when he was put into the fire, when he was fed poison, and when he was put in the pit of snakes. He was equally grateful. How? When I heard this, I was amazed. He said, what fire can do to me? Vishnu, another form, Vishnu's mouth is considered as a fire. And Vishnu is my eternal father. Can my father's mouth can harm me? No way. How poison did not hurt you, Prahlad? Prahlad said, when churning of the ocean happened, who came? Lakshmiji came first. Afterward, what came? Poison came. And Lakshmiji is who? My father's consort. And the poison is who? The brother of Lakshmi, because came after Lakshmiji. So the poison becomes a maternal uncle. So how maternal uncle can harm me? What about the snakes? He says, my father rests on the Anantashesh. So all these snakes are the servant of the servant of the servant of Anantashesh. So how come the servant of the servant of the servant of my father can harm me? So that is what he said. One who sees Krishna in everything and everything in Krishna, he is never lost to Krishna and Krishna never loses him. Isn't it amazing? So that is Prahlad's consciousness. So you may wonder, that is Prahlad Maharaj. Let's talk about something that we can understand. Right? Our dear Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, I was tested twice. How? First, Krishna took everything away from me. We all know that story of Prabhupada literally becomes bankrupt, going in the train, chanting that verse, Yashahamani Grinasi. Like, when Lord becomes pleased, He takes everything away from you. So when everything was taken away from Prabhupada, all his possessions and everything, Prabhupada did not have even a charana, the 25 paisa to travel from one place to another place. He has to walk. He used to walk. He did not have the 25 paisa. But he was absolutely grateful. Absolutely grateful. And then Srila Prabhupada said, I was tested again when Krishna gave me everything. Even the top businessmen were envious of Srila Prabhupada, that how come Srila Prabhupada could do this all over the world? Srila Prabhupada says the people have a turnover in the month of lakhs of rupees, and Prabhupada were having a turnover of lakhs of rupees in a day. And Prabhupada felt everything is Krishna's, and everything he used in Krishna's service. That is Prabhupada. Prabhupada is not just 500 years ago. He's sitting right here. Even a materialistic person, which we can think from that angle, right? There was a famous tennis player called Arthur Ashe. He won the Wimbledon title. And later on, he contracted a very deadly blood disease. And all his followers, this is amazing how with the followers, I don't know. It's ridiculous with the followers. Somebody retires in the cricket game, Mr. Kohli. He wants to retire and everyone is mourning. Like, how this person is retiring, what will happen to the test cricket and this and that. This person moved on. And all his followers are still stuck. What is this? So similarly here, Mr. Arthur Ashe, who is the Wimbledon champion, all his followers writing that, why God is doing this to you? You are such a nice person. Why does God doing this to you? So he wrote to all his followers, very beautiful thing. He said there are 5 million people or the 5 million children who try for tennis, out of which 5 lakh qualify to play a real tennis. Out of 5,50,000 gets to the city level. Out of 5,500 gets to the state level. Then 50 gets to the national level. And out of 55 plays the Wimbledon or whatever, that championship. Out of which finally only two people come to the final. And then one person wins the title. And I was the one out of these 5 million people who dreamed to play tennis. And I was the one awarded the highest title of Wimbledon. That time I did not say, Lord, why me? Why me? Why not someone else? So what right do I have when I got the blood disease? What right do I have to say that, why me? Why not someone else? If we have such consciousness, such gratitude, that believe me, the life will become sublime. Life will become sublime. Second aspect that we talked about. We become grateful when things happen with us or with our family. Are we grateful when things happen with our neighbors or someone else? Who cares? Right? Whatever happens to the neighbor. Anybody care for if something happens to the neighbors? We don't. Right? But sometimes we do. Because there is a story. Right? There are two neighbors and once the genie came and said, I'll give you a boon. Whatever you desire, you will get it, but your neighbor will get twice as much as what you will desire for. So he was so excited that whatever I will desire, I will have. He did not hear the rest of the statement. He said, the genie has come, and he said, whatever I desire, I can have. Wonderful. So he desired, let there be BMW. So sure enough, in his parking lot, there was a BMW. And he was very proudly going out to open his BMW, and he saw there were 2 BMWs standing at the neighbor's parking lot. So he was shocked. How come suddenly 2 parking lot created? There was only He did not have even any parking lot. Suddenly 2 parking lots and 2 brand new BMWs. So he went back home, thought about something and then said, let me ask for something else so that I can become better than my neighbor. Says, let my bungalow be 5-storied bungalow. I was also wondering, how a bungalow can grow vertically. Until I came to the South Mumbai, I realized that there could be a bungalow can grow vertically as well. Right? So this person desired that bungalow to be of 5-storied. Sure enough, next moment, the bungalow was 5-storied. So he thought, let me just go to the terrace of my bungalow and look at my neighbors. And suddenly he saw his neighbor having a 10-storied. Then he realized, what did the genie say? Genie said, I can have whatever I want. But I think he was saying something. Oh, this means that whatever I want, I can have. But whatever I will desire, my neighbor will get twice as much as what I will have. Said, this is not a good thing, man. This is leading me to the complete dissatisfaction. This is leading me completely distress. I cannot live where my neighbors have something more than me. So we all can imagine what this person wished next or desired next. He desired that let my one eye be gone, or let me be blind with one eye. Can you imagine? A Vaishnav is supposed to be Paradukha Dukhi and a Parasukha Sukhi. But I think for me it's the opposite. When we see somebody in pain, probably we'll become happy. Maybe not that gross, but still. Maharaj said one very beautiful statement. He said, it is very difficult to feel the sorrow for someone else's pain. But it is extremely difficult to feel happiness for someone else's success. Very difficult. Where this culture is happening, Parasukha Sukhi, when someone is glorified, you become happy. It's a wonderful culture of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. That community is nothing but a community of love. When Rupa Goswami was glorified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that how do you know my heart? When Lord Chaitanya was singing in front of Rath Yatra, and Rupa Goswami came and translated into a nice Sanskrit verse. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read that, and when they all got together, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified Rupa Goswami, all the other assembled devotees, they were not thinking, oh, this Rupa Goswami came after me, I was there in Navadvip only with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami came from Ramakeli. He came from a different place in Karnataka. I came much earlier than him. Probably I put a kanthimala around his neck. And now he is being glorified. What is this? No. They became overjoyed as if more than they were glorified. That is a sign. That is a sign of a spiritual success. When we become happy, when our fellow devotees being glorified by our spiritual master or by our senior devotees. When we become happy, then understand that we have made a real spiritual progress. Right? Then the third thing comes. This is really amazing. We become grateful when we receive things. But are we grateful when we give something? Do we give our time? Do we give our energy? Do we give our money? We do, right? But when we give, do we feel grateful? Rather, we feel the other should be grateful to us. Let's see how much donation I give. Nobody is even acknowledging that I have given so much donation. Nobody is acknowledging that I did so much of seva after Pushya Abhishek. So others should feel grateful for my services, my time, my energy, my money that I gave. But here what is being asked? You yourself should be grateful. We ourselves should be grateful when we give our time. that thank you, my Lord, for engaging me in this service. We may be grateful when the service something of what we like. Somebody comes and says, can you dress Gopinath? Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this service. Somebody comes and tell, can you just clean the toilet because that today the worker has not come? Do we feel grateful that, wow, today I got an opportunity to clean the toilet? When we feel that gratitude, then we will get to the level what we are talking about. So there is a beautiful real story that happened in London Manor. There was a Prabhupada disciple named Jivapati Prabhu who joined movement in 70s. 40 years he served Gokulananji. 40 years. And then he contracted a disease for which he had to be hospitalized. It was a very severe disease. So he hospitalized in the nearby hospital, and devotees used to make turns to go and visit Jivapati Prabhu. So one day, when one devotee went to meet Jivapati Prabhu, he was very morose. So he felt like, some bad news that must have been shared by either by the nurse or by the doctor. So he said, Prabhu, what happened? You look so morose today. He said, yeah, doctors came and they told me today that I can get discharged from the hospital. So he says, Prabhu, that is wonderful. It is so nice. He said, yeah, it is nice, but they told me one more thing also. He said, what is that? He said, they told me that even if you will get discharged, you may go home, but you will not be able to perform your services that what you used to. And he was very sad. And this devotee left. And the next day, the news came to the temple that Jivapati Prabhu left his body. Now, this is also an amazing statement, right? Left the body. We have never heard this term before coming to ISKCON. So much our language helps us to understand that we are not this body. So when Jivapati Prabhu left this body, and the same devotee who visited him the day before, shares his realization with the rest of the temple. And what a realization this person had. This person shares the realization or the reflection saying that Jivapati Prabhu was meant for service only. He said, if there is no service, what is the use of existence? Why do we exist? For service. If there is no service, then what is the use of our existence? So he was so far fighting for months together in the hospital with a hope that I will come out of the hospital and I will be able to resume my services to Sri Sri Gokulanandaji. But when he understood that this is not possible anymore, and he lost that hope, he left the body. He said, there is no need to continue living. It's not that he committed suicide, it's a natural thing. Krishna took him away for the next services. See, this is what happens when that person was so grateful for having the services. Krishna takes care so amazingly, so amazingly. We sing every day in Tulsi Puja, Tulsi Aarti. Seva adhikara dije karo nija dasi. And when somebody comes, Prabhu, can we do this service? Mataji, can you do this service? Probably, you know what, I don't have time. That's the greatest opportunity we have to be grateful for the services that we are getting. As I said, this is absolutely theoretical. It's not that I'm practicing it. I want to practice it. I want to practice this. And then there is another wonderful episode about the services. Was amazing. You have heard the name Mr. Jariwala? Mr. Jariwala was the host of Srila Prabhupada in Surat when Srila Prabhupada went to Surat for the first time after spreading ISKCON. And Srila Prabhupada stayed with his 25 disciples in Jariwala's home. And you can imagine 25 devotees staying not just for one day, for 15 days, 2 full weeks. And Mr. Jariwala and family, his wife, they took care of their prasadam, everything. And many of these devotees were even sick because they were being in India for the first time. So they nursed them, they fed them, they took care of everything, laundry, you name it, everything is being taken care. And when the 15 days were over and Srila Prabhupada says, now we need to go. And they were all ready to go. And Mr. Jariwala called each and everybody in their living room. He called each and everybody and he said, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to serve all of you. I'm so grateful to all of you. I was waiting for such day. And you all made it possible. So I'm so grateful to each one of you. So he took out envelope for each and everybody. He paid obeisances to single individual person, individual devotee, handed over the envelope and said, thank you so much for allowing me to serve you. Can you imagine these devotees were seeing this for the first time because they are first time in India. Their system practically hanged. They were wondering what they are seeing. They couldn't believe their eyes. And Prabhupada was also present in that room. When he gave envelope to everybody, then Prabhupada looked at everybody and looked at Mr. Jariwala and he said, this is Vaishnava. Prabhupada said, this is Vaishnava. So I was just wondering, what right I have to say that I'm a Vaishnava? Prabhupada is saying that this is Vaishnava, who is so grateful for the opportunity that he received to serve. Right? Then the fourth thing comes. We're going to run out of time, so we'll go a little quick. The fourth thing is when we understand Krishna's plan, right? When we reflect and recollect and retrospect, we feel, wow, I'm so grateful to Krishna for doing this to me. But are we grateful when we do not understand Krishna's plan? When our life is in complete mess, when our life is full of confusion, at that time, are we grateful to Krishna? Bhishmadev very beautifully explains in the first canto. Says, oh dear Pandavas, you are following dharma to the core. You are the most pious people. You were protected by the most greatest people on the earth. You had Krishna with you personally. Then also you had to undergo so many atrocities. Who will understand Krishna's plan? No one can understand Krishna's plan. That is what Bhishma Dev is saying. But we love you, my Lord. That is what Bhishma Dev is saying. So when you love God, in true sense, you don't care whether you understand Krishna's plan or you don't understand Krishna's plan, because you love Krishna. And that is what exactly Srila Prabhupada exemplified. He writes in that poem, when he wrote in the Jaladuta, I do not know why you're bringing me to this country which is completely chaotic. It's a Maya Nagari. Why you're bringing me here, I do not know. And also in that crazy country of America, staying for 1 year. Believe me, any one of you been to America, you go first time ever in America, and you go to the ghettos and you go to the downtown area, you feel scared to death, some of these areas. Even when you are young, healthy and everything. Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, going it for the first time and roaming around in these crazy areas of New York downtown. And he roamed around for 1 year without home. Can you imagine how much love he had for Krishna? That's why he could trust whatever Krishna's plan, whether I understand or I don't understand. He used to go to harbor every day. Should I go back? No, Krishna must have some plan. I may not understand. Krishna has some plan. And we see today what Krishna had planned. What a big plan Krishna had, right? So such thing happen when you are grateful, when we do not understand Krishna's plan. And the last thing, we'll be grateful in our mind. The tears will come down from our eyes folding hand to Srila Prabhupada, folding hand to Shri Radha Gopinath ji. That gratitude is easy, is not a problem. Even that gratitude is sometimes very difficult. But the real gratitude is, the gratitude is reflected in tangible actions, not just in mere emotions. It has to be reflected in tangible actions. Srila Prabhupada used to go for a morning walk. And I think I believe it was a LA temple or some other temple. Prabhupada used to go for morning walk. And every day when they come back from the morning walk, there was one devotee who used to quote verses from Bhagavatam glorifying Prabhupada. So this is the verse glorifying, the sages glorifying Sutta Goswami, saying that we met you by the will of the providence, will of the fortune, and this and that, and you are the captain of the ship who will take us across the cycle of birth and death and the ocean of birth and death. And Prabhupada heard it, because Prabhupada was hearing every day for last 10 days. Different verses, of course. And then Prabhupada came up to him, looked at other devotees, and said, does he not have any services to do? Why he just glorifies me? If he genuinely appreciates, or if he's genuinely grateful for what he has received, why can't be reflected in some actions? Why can't be reflected in some services? Srila Prabhupada was at the Vyasa Puja of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Prabhupada spoke that this festival is the festival to honor our spiritual master. There are fruits and flowers decorated. There are flowery words to glorify our spiritual master. But when we follow the order of spiritual master, that is the real glorification of the spiritual master. When your desire is aligned and in accordance with the desire of a spiritual master, that is the deepest gratitude you can express to your spiritual master. You can imagine the level of Srila Prabhupada. And once the disciples of Srila Prabhupada asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, how can we repay you? Prabhupada said, just chant Hare Krishna. And then there was a long pause. And then Prabhupada said, you should always feel obliged. You should always feel obliged to your spiritual master. So let us all pray to Srila Prabhupada that let us all feel obliged to Srila Prabhupada forever, not just by mere words or not just by mere emotions, but with a genuine service to Srila Prabhupada and his mission. I'm saying it very, very theoretically, but please, please pray for me. I want to do something, right? We want to do something for Srila Prabhupada. And that is real gratitude. That is real gratitude. So these are the 5 situations in which if you are grateful genuinely, we will experience, we will see Krishna in this body. And what is that? When we become grateful genuinely in adversity. We become grateful when others get glorifications, others get success. We become grateful when we get an opportunity to serve. We become grateful when we get an opportunity to give something to others. We feel grateful when we do not understand Krishna's plan. And when we express our gratitude through tangible services. If we do this, then we can really understand the spiritual perspective of being grateful. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.